And when you say that you changed your language and that had all of these real transfigurative effects, what were some of the main linguistic choices that you made?
That's an excellent question. Two parts I want to answer it. I'll give two examples. One is being much more careful about fixed positions and absolutes. I became deeply concerned with over describing certainty to anything because it seemed to me to be a closed system which undermined possibility, and possibility was generative, and if it could bring about more change, and that this was something that, particularly because I was in a point in my life where I wasn't happy with how things were, if I wanted, if magic is an empowering kind of practice, if it's about transformation, then taking on language which is more selectively ambiguous, more open, less concrete. This was one of the first things that I did. And the other thing was much more simple, which was that I've talked about this openly before. This actually came out of me having an extremely heavy depressive episode in my younger years, where I then ended up being quite dissociated from myself, and in doing so was able to observe myself a lot. And what I observed was that I had a self-fulfilling prophecy of constantly narrativizing to myself and everyone else about how awful I was, how difficult I was to be around, and so on and so forth. And in doing so was creating a set of conditions where I was more difficult to be around, right? Because I was being negative all the time. It was not creating a nice, conducive atmosphere for people to engage in with me. And so I just elected to make the choice to start talking about myself in only positive terms, or at least self-policing and catching when I didn't. And initially, obviously, I didn't personally believe in this, so I started doing it in an ironic way. But I was very much just talking about how great I was, how great I was to be around, how everything was great, irrespective of what I was feeling. And the consequence was that people enjoyed being around me much more. They had better relationships with me. And ultimately, I completely changed as an individual to be more like the one that I was describing myself to be.
That's what I was going to ask about tulpas, actually. Do they tend to address what people see as their deficiencies? You know, if there's social anxiety, then is it common for tulpas to be very extroverted?